picking other exotic dishes such as banga jollof rice, banga efo riro, banga asaro or yam porridge, banga egusi, and many more. Pali Banga is easy to open, no preservatives, no cholesterol, and no coloring. Approved by NAFDAC. Manufactured by Pali Agro Products Limited. Available in all leading stores and supermarkets nationwide.
Pali Banga, natural palm fruit extracts for tasty African cuisine.
Most people don't understand the magic of the perfect skin. The allure of a well-pampered skin. We bounce from skincare products to skincare products. From spa to spa. Looking for that ideal solution. I found the solution. And it's Blemiville Skincare and Spa. My name is Neil, and I'm proud to be a part of the Blemiville family.
The future of cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrencies continue to draw a lot of attention from investors, entrepreneurs, regulators, and the general public. Many recent public discussions of cryptocurrencies have been triggered by the substantial changes in their prices, claims that the market for cryptocurrencies is a bubble without any fundamental value, and also
Hello and welcome. This is Business Breakfast, broadcasting to you live from our studio here in Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital. I am Omobolanle Adeshui. Coming up in a moment, diesel price soars by 181% as gas prices surge in May. And also Nigeria's rising inflation rate bites harder on the local currency as the naira continues to lose value in the forex market. Despite the constant intervention of the central bank in the markets to manage exchange rate volatility, a look at the official forex market shows that naira is currently trading at 420 naira 5 kobo to $1 as local currency fell from the average of 200 naira in 2015 to 420 naira as of June 2022. Well, that's part of our talking point on the show today. And also on the show, state governments generate and transmit their own electricity as the federal government set to decentralize the national grid to accommodate more investors with a plan to invest about $550 million. We'll take a closer look at the impact of this development on the country's power sector. And finally on the show, MTN Nigeria Owando led gainers by value as market capitalization rises by 130 billion naira in value to settle at 27.8 trillion naira at the end of the trading day. Well, this and many more are some of the highlights on the show today. We'll take a moment now. When we come back, we'll dive right in.
unripe plantain flour is 100% natural flour gotten from the processing of unripe plantain. It contains no addictive and has a net content of 500 grams. True unripe plantain flour contains vitamin A, B6 and C. It is gluten-free and rich in calcium. Consuming through unripened flour helps to build and strengthen stronger bones and can be a great meal for diabetic patients. It decreases your chances of constipation as it has a high fiber content and provides you with a low-fat diet. Here are some steps to prepare your through unripe plantain flour. Firstly, mix through unripe plantain flour with hot water in a pot and gradually add water till you achieve desired thickness. Place over medium heat and turn very well for 4 to 5 minutes to get the right texture. Mold into a ball and place bowl and allow to cool. Serve with your choice of soup. Through unripe plantain flour can be eaten with any variety of soup, be it your ofe oha, ofe onugbu, begiri, ewedu, or your miyan kuka. To get your through unripe plantain flour, contact us at 12 Olowera Isheri Road by First Welder bus stop off Omole Phase 2, Olowera, Lagos, Nigeria, or call 070-6663-8213 or 081-6397-4447. Distributors are needed nationwide.
The photography business is a very competitive industry. Every year, thousands of talented photo lovers consider turning their passion into a money-making business venture. Especially in a fiercely competitive marketplace like Nigeria, in which it is very easy for anyone to buy a digital camera and call themselves a professional photographer. According to some practitioners, a new photographer who wants a standard studio can start with a budget of 3.5 million naira. However, one can start with a lower budget of about 500,000 to 1 million naira depending on the tools and cost of rent. On the average, the cost of photography equipment is around 294,790 naira. However, the price ranges from around 41,000 naira to as high as 2.46 million naira. Nigeria has a population of over 200 million people with a vibrant movie industry that produces 50 movies per week, generating annual revenue of approximately $590 million from between 2016 and 2021, helping the photography industry as a whole, according to a recent research by the UN.
Are you a business owner looking for the right exposure to attract massive clients to your brand? The long search is definitely over. SME Hub allows you to showcase your products and services to a wide range of viewers and buyers nationwide. For further inquiries, please call Alero on 081-323-43262 or you can send an email to alero.ogudere@ibrandtv.com. Grow your brand and boost your business on SME Hub, live on iBrandTV, where business comes first.
The future of cryptocurrency.
Thank you for staying with us. Now let's take a look at what happened at the stock market yesterday. The NGX closed on a positive note amid sell-offs and buy interest, as the benchmark all-share index appreciated by 47 basis points. The NGX all-share index closed at 51,618.73 points to reflect a growth of 0.47% from the previous trading day and a year-to-date return of 20.84%. Meanwhile, the market capitalization grew by 130.21 billion naira at the close of the market on Thursday, the 23rd of June 2022. The stock exchange market value currently stands at 27.8 trillion naira at the end of the trading day. The market breadth closed negative as First Bank of Nigeria Holdings led 18 gainers and 22 losers, topped by Academy at the end of the day session. The stock market has advanced 8,902.29 basis points since the start of the year. Market sentiment trended towards the bulls despite the market differential being in favor of the decliners as 18 gainers were surpassed by 22 losers. Now, to help us better understand what happened in the market yesterday, we have Ambrose Omodio, Chief Research Officer at Invest Data Consulting Limited. Good morning to you, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me again.
All right, let's look at what happened at the market yesterday. We saw the markets are closing at 51,618.73 basis points to reflect a growth of 0.47% from that's from Wednesday. And of course, we see that there was a lot of, we had more losers than gainers. But let's understand what drove this positive sentiment.
Actually, I would say that this is a continuation of bargain hunters in the market. Markets have suffered losses previously, like 4 days ago. Markets was down for straight 5 days. That great opportunity for investors to see stocks that are valued selling at a lower price. As I said, in equity investment, what we call expensive stocks and cheap stocks. When you see these cheap stocks coming at a time that you see that, yes, there are factors that will drive the market ahead of you, it's opportunity to gain. The bargain hunters saw that market have suffered losses. Also the high cap stocks also are put down. They now saw opportunity to come into the market. Since they started taking position, we have seen the market maintain an uptrend for 3 straight days. But I would say that yesterday was purely a missentiment. Because if you look at the buying position of 67% buy position and 33% sell position, it tells you that it's a miss market. Or also, if you look at the market breadth, you can see that we have 22 losers against 18 gainers. It tells you that market is also a miss position. But it tells you that those that are designing the market are looking at which stocks to take position ahead of what we call interim dividend season that is ahead of the market in the month of July and August. For that, they are taking advantage of the pullback to position. And also, if you look at the stock that really supported the market yesterday, it's your MTN and First Holding, that is the FBN Holding, and others. Tell you that this MTN, yes, we have seen that the stock have suffered from 270 down to almost 221. Seeing at that price, almost like a 50 naira different, become attractive. And also, this is a company that's into dividend paying stocks and they listed on the exchange. We saw that in the month of July, before the end of the 31st of July, we expect MTN to release their dividend result, and that also support MTN. And not only that, the factors that are going to support MTN bottom line are still increasing on a daily basis. Yesterday, today, this morning, NCC and MTN has come out to say that yes, the 5G will hit on board by August. It tells you that people are saying that this started was going to impact on the bottom line. Also, don't forget that their money payment service has ongoing since the CBN approved it about 2 months ago. These are the things that are going to impact the company performance. On that note, design investor and smart traders are seeing an opportunity to enter MTN at a low price. Looking at what Airtel is doing in the market, Airtel is about almost 1,700. Even when Airtel adjusted the price yesterday, for 12 naira dividend, if you gain that 12 naira dividend that same yesterday, it tells you that these telecom stocks have come to support the market and also the economy at large.
We are seeing a positive trend in that sector in recent times. But let's talk about the market sentiment trending towards the bulls, despite having 22 losers and 18 gainers. How do you reconcile this?
No, I said that it's because of the high cap stock again. Actually, the market is a mixed market, a mixed sentiment. I said, we have a 67 buy position and 33 sell position. That is a mixed trend. For me, that is what market close positive. Seeing MTN on the gainers chart, also FBN Holding gaining 10%, almost 10% also will support the market to gain on the positive. For me, it's not a bad movement, but also today being the last trading day of the week, I expect that a mixed trend of what we saw yesterday will continue. Because profit taking will always come in. Because I always advise investors that don't be carried away with upside market. See market for up 3 days, don't be carried away. Profit taking will come any moment from now, which is today. It's possible by next week also. But
and they could switch the tide.
Yeah, but also like, as we're coming closer to the end of the quarter, this end of the half year 2022, and also the end of the quarter and end of the month of June. These are factors that are also going to support the market and ahead of what any season. And also we're looking to see that from July we're going to see the the economic data in terms of how the market has fared or the economy has fared for the past half of the year. That is what going to guide investors on what to do at the end of the day.
All right, let's look at the gainers table. We see First Bank of Nigeria. You already talked about the reason behind the sentiment that supported the First Bank of Nigeria.
The price falling back as low as 8.40 kobo.
Yes, really 9.78% increase. And then we see that of FTN Cocoa up by 9.38% to close at 35 kobo. Help us understand what happened.
For FTN Cocoa, no, for me, it's just market forces. Not really starting to anything because that stock has been going up and down. We're seeing it coming back again. But the one I would say, yes, there has been in like almost 3 days or 4 days up is the livestock. Livestock, for me, the low price attraction, when it touched as low as 1.22 kobo, 1.28 kobo, that become attractive for investors. Knowing that this is a sector that government is giving attention, there's some incentive in the agricultural sector, we see potential there. Now, seeing livestock selling below 150 kobo become attractive for investors. That is why I see there are a lot of activities there. But I believe that if the Q2 number or half-year result of livestock beat market expectation, the price was possibly to touch 2 naira or 2 naira 10 kobo before the end of July.
Would that reflect in the price of the livestock products?
If the earnings of the company beat expectation, it will move the price to around 210. Yeah.
That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Well, let's also look at that of Union Bank of Nigeria, up by 6.19% to close at 6 naira.
Yeah, for me, Union Bank, of Nigeria is trying to like rebrand it after. I've suffered a kind of bash from investors or traders that put the price from as high as 620 to almost 540. Rebranding now is good because if you look at what happened in the company recently, the major deal was transacted at 7 naira. That is where the company that bought about 93.41% of the company transacted across their deals at 7 naira. That means for me, investors that are panicking in Union Bank, I see they don't know what they are doing right now. For me,
but there was a change of their managers recently. Do you think that also caused the shake-up?
The shake-up for me, the platform or the branch network of Union Bank shows that whoever that is coming is going to capitalize on that to expand. because if they are coming, they should come with technology, they should come with expertise. Already they have a branch network. They need to start building because you already have about 93.4% of the company. That means you are almost the owner of the company. For me, I see that would be a strength for them to come out from this second tier where First Bank, where the Airbnb is now. If the company in the next 2 or 3 years, come with the good numbers and we'll see a change in that company, soon we can see Union Bank coming back to the first tier banks soon, depending on the speed they come. But I believe that for those that are in Union Bank that are long-term investors, it's not time for you to panic to sell your position. Rather, you can increase your stake in the company. Even though they are not buying out, they are going to keep you there. Expect that this bank they've been in Nigeria for 2 years with about 6 or 8 branches, and we have seen their performance looking good again. Coming to Union Bank with that knowledge, with that technology and also expertise, I believe that will be a plus for Union Bank. For investors in Union Bank, stay cool.
Well, as to them joining the first-tier banks in Nigeria, we'll see how that goes.
No, very soon. The next 5 years, it's possible. You can see what Access Bank is doing. Access Bank is giving the first-tier banks a hit. When they come, started from somewhere. When Access was rolling out plan for 5 years, they know we are going today. In terms of gross earning, Access has leading the market now on the top of the industry. Union Bank, GTB are behind the Access Bank. It's possible for Union Bank. With time, in the next 5 years, they can also come back and join the first tier.
Okay, we'll see how your prediction goes. But let's look at those that closed in the red. For instance, Academy went down 10% to close at 1 naira 17 kobo. Did you see that coming?
No, for me, Academy Press, I'm not surprised the price is dropping because every investment is against the future. And also for you as an investor to know where you have invested your money, how it's doing, you need to see the company earnings. Like it comes quarterly, every 3 months. But for Academy Press, the result was released last at their 3rd quarter. We have not seen their full year unaudited. The last result released of the market is the 4th quarter. The 3rd quarter. Okay. We have not seen the unaudited account for the period ended March 31st. On that note, investor might also say, let's just stay aside and watch what is happening in the company. For that, the kind of setdown we're seeing, I'm not surprised, because you need to know how the company you invested in, how they are fed for the last 1 year, because the financial year ended around March 31st, 2022. Till now, we have not seen results. Since for people to start what is happening, we didn't see their unaudited account, we didn't see their audited account. For that,
so in this instance, what do you suspect or suggest investors do?
No, for those that like I always tell you that you are there to make money. You are not there to romance the stock or the company. If you are not seeing any to guide you, you sell off and move to where you are seeing number to guide you.
Well, let's check that of Ella Lakes, down by 10% also, but closing at 3.96 naira.
For Ella Lakes, I would just say it's market sentiment or market forces. It was up the previous day 10%, down the next day. That is a market forces.
We also see Transact and Presco also taking the downward trend.
Yeah, Presco also the market forces. When they released their forecast the previous day, apart from yesterday, market reacted to it positively, gained 10%. Dropping yesterday to that is just it's market forces. Yeah.
But the mutual benefits are being the highest stock traded by volume at 40.13 million, followed by Orlando at 28.5 million and FCMB at 24.45 million. How do you explain these stocks?
Yeah, for mutual benefit, I'm not surprised. This what we call recapitalization in the insurance sector is still ongoing. It's possible, major talk is around the corner, or somebody is trying to take position that you are seeing that kind of volume in mutual benefits. I'm not surprised when you see the capitalization going, on in the sector. I'm bound to see such volume, But for Owando, the volume for yesterday, I tell you, it's more of, a buy or sell position, but market reacting to the information that minority shareholders is demanding for the listing of the stock, which I've known since the market, since I joined the market, I've not heard that the minority shareholder is the one calling for the listing of a company on the exchange. But when I saw that, for that,
what do you think is happening?
Owando has not been transparent for since I joined this market. Then coming with such news again, we are not surprised. That is why you can see many investors in that kind of trade yesterday. You saw the volume. Some are trying to sell off position before another thing happened, because Owando is a company that will give you earnings report positive for third quarter. The last quarter of the year, they bring a negative result. I'm not surprised that the latest and about 430 billion losses is what we're seeing. For investors, this is a company that for 8 straight years they've not paid dividend to shareholders, and they're operating. The managers are.
But you still have investors putting in their.
Yeah, they are more of speculators. Because if you are in a company for 8 straight years, no dividend, what are you doing there? I don't marry companies' name. They are not women. The name of the chairman or the board director it's so important. You are there to make money. Why would you sit down in a company for 8 years without dividend, nothing? Rather, they tell you story up and down here. For me, the recent one, investors should kind of think twice. In this kind of situation.
All right, let's also look at the stocks that traded in the highest when it comes to the value. We see our Presco trading 383.18 million. MTN, of course, we already talked about MTN, which was, of course, what pushed the market trending towards the bull. Yeah. And also Airtel Africa trading 303.16 million naira.
These are high-priced stocks, as I would say. Then for them, seeing the volume there, I'm not surprised, because compare the price they are selling and the volume, you see that such a volume. But for me as an investor, the volume don't really attract me. I want to see value, volume, and price. Looking at value is just for you to know what is about.
But this volume was one of the things that pushed the market.
The volume, but not the value. The value doesn't, but it's the volume they are talking about. Volume is good, but it's guide you to know what is happening in the company. But what value is for those that want to know for monetary purpose. But for you as an investor or a trader, you want to see the volume. Is it a positive volume or a negative volume? When you see a positive volume that's going on, it triggers your decision what to do. That's why investors need to understand how to trade volume with price at any given time to understand where to be. That's why in the coming master class of invest data, we're going to show them how you can take technical analysis to take key investment decision when it comes to trading and investing, because you need to understand, how to use your technical analysis when it comes to taking a key investment decision, especially now that we're seeing the market, rebounding. Like I said earlier yesterday, on this program, the market needs to break out what we call 51,800 for you to see that this recovery is strong and it's about to go to there. That means we're looking forward to see today if market to cross that 51,800. If that is achieved today, we'll see that the rebound.
But what are your expectations? Do you see it crossing the mark?
Yeah, today, but being last end of the week, and also we have seen market up for 3 days, I'm expect profit taking activity to slow down. But if another high cap stock, as we just mentioned, also in the future on the gainers might also. But I believe for 3 trading days up market, we expect profit taking to slow the market down. Already we have seen the sign yesterday. We are seeing about 67% buy position and 33% sell position. I tell you that people already trying to cash out the little they've gained. That's why I said don't fall in love with upside markets.
All right, we would be wrapping it up there. Thank you so much, Ambrose Amodian, Chief Research Officer at Invest Data Consulting Limited.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for the robust analysis, and have a good weekend.
You too.
All right, we'll take a break, and when we come back, the overnight lending rate contracted by 13 basis points to 14% in the absence of any significant inflow into the system, and that's coming from the fixed income and money market. After this break, we'll delve into that. Please stay with us.
Unripe plantain flour is 100% natural flour gotten from the processing of unripe plantain. It contains no addictive and has a net content of 500 grams. True unripe plantain flour contains vitamin A, B6 and C. It is gluten-free and rich in calcium. Consuming through unripe plantain flour helps to build and strengthen stronger bones and can be a great meal for diabetic patients. It decreases your chances of constipation as it has a high fiber content and provides you with a low-fat diet. Here are some steps to prepare your through unripe plantain flour. Firstly, mix true unripe plantain flour with hot water in a pot and gradually add water till you achieve desired thickness. Placed over medium heat and turned very well for 4 to 5 minutes to get the right texture. Mold into a ball and place in a bowl and allow to cool. Serve with your choice of soup. True unripe plantain flour can be eaten with any variety of soup, be it your ofe oha, ofe onugbu, begiri, ewedu, or your miyan kuka. To get your true unripe plantain flour, contact us at 12 Olowera Isheri Road by First Welder bus stop off Omole Phase 2, Olowera, Lagos, Nigeria, or call 070-6663-8213 or 081-6397-4447. Distributors are needed nationwide.
The photography business is a very competitive industry. Every year, thousands of talented photo lovers consider turning their passion into a money-making business venture. Especially in a fiercely competitive marketplace like Nigeria, in which it is very easy for anyone to buy a digital camera and call themselves a professional photographer. According to some practitioners, a new photographer who wants a standard studio can start with a budget of 3.5 million naira. However, one can start with a lower budget of about 500,000 to 1 million naira depending on the tools and cost of rent. On the average, the cost of photography equipment is around 294,790 naira. However, the price ranges from around 41,000 naira to as high as 2.46 million naira. Nigeria has a population of over 200 million people with a vibrant movie industry that produces 50 movies per week, generating annual revenue of approximately $590 million from between 2016 and 2021, helping the photography industry as a whole, according to a recent research by the UN.
Are you a business owner looking for the right exposure to attract massive clients to your brand? The long search is definitely over. SME Hub allows you to showcase your products and services to a wide range of viewers and buyers nationwide. For further inquiries, please call Alero on 081-323-43262 or you can send an email to alero.ogudere@ibrandtv.com. Grow your brand and boost your business on SME Hub, live on iBrandTV, where business comes first.
Thank you for joining us again. You're watching Business Breakfast right here on iBrandTV. The overnight lending rate contracted by 13 basis points to 14% in the absence of any significant inflow into the system. Trading in the Treasury bills secondary market was bearish as the average yield expanded by 3 basis points to 4.7%. Across the curve, the average yield expanded at the short and mid segments due to profit taking on the 49 DTM and 154 DTM bills, respectively, but closed flat at the long end. Elsewhere, the average yield was unchanged at 5.2% in the open market operation segment. Proceedings in the Treasury bond secondary market were mixed, although with a bearish tilt, as the average yield expanded slightly by 1 basis point to 11.1%. Well, John Kanayo joins us now to help us make sense of what happened at the fixed income and money market yesterday. John Kanayo is Head Research and Strategies Imperial Asset Limited. He joins us now via the phone. Thank you for joining us, John Kanayo.
Yes, thank you, Bomani.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Good to have you. Now, let's start from the currency markets. The Naira appreciated by 0.1% to close at 420 Naira 17 kobo to the US dollar at the I&E window. Tell us about what to expect today.
Yeah, like you rightly pointed out, Naira appreciated yesterday, unlike what we had the previous day when it was down by 33 kobo, gaining representing 0.08% to close at the figure you just pointed out. I think obviously this is the fact that the price of crude oil was marginally up yesterday, and I think that would have influenced the income that came into external revenue account. And I equally want to believe that obligation before CBN yesterday wasn't as much as what we witnessed Tuesday and Monday and Tuesday. I think this is,
Okay, help us understand the activities in the fixed income market yesterday. What happened? What were the exchanges that went on?
Okay, system liquidity was up yesterday, and it actually closed at 173.02 billion naira compared to a loss of 62.13 billion or a negative of 62.13 billion that was recorded on Tuesday. I think there was inflow into the market. As such, money market rates remain in the same position. Overnight rate closed at 14%. Open repo rate closed at 13.75%. At the bond market yesterday, the market was flat. Short end was flat. Mid end, we saw bearish teeth because of sell-off on 27 February 2028. That's the 5 YTM. It was actually, the yield was up by 6 basis points. At the long end of the curve, demand came in on 21 January 2042. That's the 20 YTM. Yield compressed by 7 basis points. On the average, overall, average yield, like I pointed out, was unchanged, and it settled at 14.49%. At the automobile market, the average yield market was flat. Average yield settled at 5.61, while at the NCV market, average yield was equally flat. Average yield settled at 4.32%. What we have seen over time, like I pointed out yesterday, is in the bond market, we have seen demand coming in at the mid and long end of the curve, and in line with CBN decision to push spot rate at Monday PMA or Monday bond PMA up, both at the mid, at the short, mid, and long end. But why, if you move down to OMO market and NCV market, we have seen up and down movement, largely because the yield environment in this aspect of the market has been low. If you look at, I was doing an analysis this morning and equally discovered that on the average, the long end of the OMO market, the yield we have there is just about 5.75%. If you do a simple analysis against the inflation figure we have, you can see that whoever that is putting interest into this segment of the market may probably be looking at the end of the period, what am I going to get? By the time I do my simple arithmetic, I discover that my true yield will be negative. The same thing applies to NCB. I think that has been the reason why we've been seeing up and down movement in this market, especially.
Okay, I was just going to point you in direction of the inflation rate, but let's wrap this up by looking at the expectation of analysts on a moderate session across board on liquidity constraints. What is your outlook for the week?
Okay, for the week, this week ending, like I pointed out, liquidity is up. Liquidity is expected to provide an incentive to demand, especially in the bond market. The OMO and the NCV are expected to continue traction. What we have seen Tuesday, Wednesday, we expect that to be largely quiet.
All right.
And it will be unchanged. Why at the bond market, mid and long term, there should be demand coming in.
That's a fine place to leave it. Thank you so much, John Kanayo. Thank you for your thoughts this morning on the fixed income and money markets.
Thank you, Bonandi, for having me, and thank you, everyone, for listening. All
right, have a good weekend. Okay, we'll take a break now. When we come back, an estimated 15.64 million liters of petrol were smuggled out of Nigeria daily in August 2021. And this is according to Chapel Hill Denham, an investment and management bank, in its recent report. We'll bring you details in a moment. Please stay with us.
Swift Dry Cleaners Limited, professional dry cleaners, best in dry cleaning and laundry services, and meets the needs of our consumers. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Yeah, for clean wash and quick delivery. Yeah, Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. Swift Dry Cleaners Limited. For clean wash and quick delivery.
Swift Dry Cleaners. Clean wash, quick delivery.
Unripe plantain flour is 100% natural flour gotten from the processing of unripe plantain. It contains no addictive and has a net content of 500 grams. True unripe plantain flour contains vitamin A, B6 and C. It is gluten-free and rich in calcium. Consuming through unripe plantain flour helps to build and strengthen stronger bones and can be a great meal for diabetic patients. It decreases your chances of constipation as it has a high fiber content and provides you with a low-fat diet. Here are some steps to prepare your through unripe plantain flour. Firstly, mix through unripe plantain flour with hot water in a pot and gradually add water till you achieve desired thickness. Place over medium heat and turn very well for 4 to 5 minutes to get the right texture. Mold into a ball and place in a bowl and allow to cool. Serve with your choice of soup. Through unripe plantain flour can be eaten with any variety of soup, be it your ofe oha, ofe onugbu, begiri, ewedu, or your miyan kuka. To get your through unripe plantain flour, contact us at 12 Olowera Isheri Road by First Welder bus stop off Omole Phase 2, Olowera, Lagos, Nigeria, or call 070-6663-8213 or 081-6397-4447. Distributors are needed nationwide.
The photography business is a very competitive industry. Every year, thousands of talented photo lovers consider turning their passion into a money-making business venture, especially in a fiercely competitive market.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, let's turn our attention to one of the topical issues of the day. Within the past 7 years of President Muhammad Buhari's tenure, Naira has declined significantly from about 196 Naira to $1 to 420 Naira at the official market. The black market has recorded a steep fall, with the currency falling to above 600 Naira to $1. However, according to data posted by FMDQ, where Forex is officially traded, on Tuesday the currency opened trading at 420 Naira 71 kobo and closed at 420 Naira 27 kobo to $1 at the close of the day's business. The figure implies a 1 Naira 6 kobo or 0.3% appreciation from 421 Naira 33 kobo it traded in the previous session on Monday. Amidst the coronavirus pandemic that affected oil revenue, the Central Bank of Nigeria in March 2020 alone devalued the currency 3 times, putting immense pressure on the nation's reserves. Meanwhile, Nigeria's inflation rate spiked to an 11-month record high in May 2022, hitting 17.71%, representing its 4th consecutive monthly rise in the year, with energy and food prices rising to record levels. While Nigeria's inflationary pressure cannot be isolated from the global energy crisis, food supply shocks, and global inflationary uptrend, Nigeria seems to be bearing the brunt of the spike in commodity prices. Now, let's dissect this inflationary pressure vis-a-vis the increase in the value of the Naira as President Buhari rules out quick unification of rates. Joining us to discuss this further is Olusegun Okwande, Chairman, Ikeja District Society of ICANN. He joins us now via Zoom. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Okwande.
Good morning, Bolanle, and good morning to our viewers this morning. Thank God it's Friday to be here.
Thank God it's Friday. Well, the President Buhari, says the local unit is still susceptible to external shocks, and allowing a devaluation towards unification will affect Nigerians. Of course, he said this in response to Bloomberg on why the government has not heeded calls from the IMF and the World Bank to unify the exchange rates at the official and parallel markets. What are your thoughts on this move by the President?
Yeah, well, you and I understand that the President has his advisors who are actually there to give him, advice on certain economic issue. And don't forget that the Vice President is the chairman of the economic think tank that is actually talking. But my challenge has been that the two has not been talking in the same direction. Because at the time, the chairman of the economic summit was saying that let's actually unify our currency in such a way that we know that the forces of demand and supply is what plays out. In your prologue that you read at the beginning, you said the rate at the exchange where it's being traded is about 400 and something naira to $1.
Yes.
Yeah, 420 naira to $1. But you and I understand that that's not what is obtainable, because how many people have access to the dollar in exchange at the primary market that we're talking about? Majority of the people goes about to get this dollar from the black market, from the people outside it, because the CBN are not meeting the demand of an average supply, and because of the bureaucratic setting, if you are able to unify it, suggested by the Vice President, which the President is still saying they are studying, at least it will give a leverage. Everybody knows that whatever you get in the bank is what you get outside it. So then the law of demand and supply will play to bear. People that are rushing out to get the dollar cannot get it from the bank, and when the demand is actually there and the supply itself is available. Because majority of what people are doing is that rather than pushing those currency to the bank, when they know that they are going to have less gain, they decide to push it to the black market where they will have more gain, even when they have actually gotten it at the official rate. So that's why I see reason in unifying it. But I don't know. The President has the final say, and you and I understand why this is. And don't forget, most of the things that we are talking about now, we are import-based. Practically everything that we do, we put pressure on the dollar.
On the dollar, absolutely. Would link back up with Olusegun Okwade, but of course, looking at the pros and cons of unifying the exchange rate at the official and parallel markets as called for by the IMF and the World Bank. Thank you for joining us again, Mr. Okwade.
My pleasure always.
Okay, so you just touched on the importance or the advantages of unifying the exchange rate at both the official and parallel markets. But I would like us to look at one of the major reasons that President Muhammadu Buhari gave as to why they are not, moved toward, or they're not moving towards unifying it at this time. He says that they are not going to unify it until they're able to get the nation's refineries working and they're able to push production up when it comes to crude oil and agricultural products. Where do you see all of this going? Is it feasible? How soon is it possible?
That's the question I was about to ask, but you took it out of my mouth. The last 7 years has been one of the cardinal points, and we are not, to me, it's personal, I may not be as much as I feel I'm in the public space, may not have a preview to certain information. I don't think, to the best of my knowledge, we have direction in the path of how our refinery will be resuscitated, or the ones that they promised to give newly will be there. We've been having some of these things, going through maintenance turnaround without producing one single barrel of crude on a daily basis. And meeting up the OPEC capacity that they have given to us, it's been struggling all the while. So I don't know when that will be. If in the last 7 years we've not able to achieve this, and we all know that the current thing that is in fake now is politics. Everybody has thrown governance to space. We are not having nothing is working. So I don't see the administration bringing that to bear. So we might just continue in the path that we are going, not unifying the currency, because I doubt my personal view that any refinery is coming up and there's any intentional act of bringing those things to bear. If there is, I think there should be feelers in the public space that people will be seeing the progress of the work being carried out on the refinery. So if you are waiting till then, that means the next administration should be prepared to go the route.
Okay, so it means we have about a few months. Okay, go ahead. Mr. Okwade? Okay, we lost the audio connection with Mr. Okwade, but if you're saying that we should have to, or we would have to wait for the next administration to see that happen, it means we have about, say, 10 months to look at before we begin to see that happen. And the question would be, what exactly is this administration doing to, because if we're waiting for the next administration, at least this administration should already be doing something in that direction, so that we know that in the next few months or in the next administration, we're able to get results in that direction. Mr. Okwade, welcome back. Okay, we've not linked up back with Mr. Okwade, but of course, we're still looking at...
apology for that network issue. I'm with you, Bolani.
Okay, please go ahead.
So I said, I don't know how long that will linger, but from my own perspective, I think it's the next administration that will be preparing. If the excuse being given by the president to unify it is until when we have our refinery functionary. The last 7 years is part of the things we've been clamoring for, because even the importation of this refined product is one of the things that is putting pressure on our foreign exchange. You can see the excuses that the IFMAN, the DAPMAN are given, that they don't have access to dollars. If some of these things are refined locally, I'm sure nobody will be talking of them sourcing for dollars to get some of these things done. So I feel the government should be intentional about fixing our refinery, and let there be information in the public space so that at least the citizen can have understanding of what that is going on, and definitely a timeline when this will be delivered, so that at least we know the timeline and the termination of the suffering and every Nigerian is undergoing as we speak.
So you don't see this administration being decisive about this issue of unifying the exchange rate in the official market and the parallel markets?
I don't see, going by the reason given by the president, that until when we have the refinery functional and the crude oil level being increased. And what is not being achieved in the last 7 years, I doubt now that it's about politics, that no governance activity is going on, whether it's going to be achieved.
Well, we see our forex turnover skyrocketing by 135%, with $108.06 million recorded as against $46.07 million posted in the previous session on Monday. Does this have any impact on inflation?
Yeah, it does. You see, the reason for that skyrocketing is the increase in the crude oil price. And you know, our major source of income has to do with that. And because why it has impact on inflation is majority of the things that we do are import-based. None of these things are being domesticated here in the country. So in as much as you have more dollars going up and everybody is bringing in everything, we are not producing anything locally, inflation will continue to go on the high rate. You and I understand what the businesses are facing with the cost of energy and food. These are basic things that an average nation needs to work on. If there is energy, most people will go the route of having more production. And if there is food, at least you've taken care of certain things. But because of the civil unrest in the nation, a certain part of the country, it has actually affected business. Businesses are dying. Businesses are moving out of the country every day because the cost of operation is unbearable for anyone to do. And this is actually causing more unemployment, and our youth are having no place to have their stay as we speak.
But the increase in the interest rate from 11.5% to 13% by the Monetary Policy Committee of the CBN, which of course held during their last meeting, do you think that that had any impact on reducing, because one of the reasons they gave was to reduce inflationary pressure? Do you see that happening?
I doubt if that will be. You see, most of the time we talk on this monetary and fiscal policy, and you ask yourself how many of it has impacted an average citizen. You see MBS reeling out figures that is really unbearable, and they will say certain things has increased with marginally 1%, 0.5%, and you ask yourself, is it the same price that you buy a cup of beans this time last year that you are buying it now? Is it the same cost that you buy rice? I'm talking of even food. So you discover that the figures are not sinking in line with what we have. So,
all right. Yes, that's Olusegun Okwade helping us make sense of the current situation as regards the merging that has been called for by the IMF and CBN. IMF and the World Bank talking about merging the currency or the forex rate at both the official market and the parallel market. And of course, he's been talking about the impact of inflation on the price of food items in the market. Thank you for joining us again, Mr. Okwade.
My pleasure always, Bolanle, and have a wonderful weekend.
All right. Okay, you already wrapped up. I was going to wrap up with you, but I guess you're in the spirit, so you already wrapped it up. Well, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much, Mr. Olusegun Okwade, for your time on Business Breakfast. Still to come, state governments will now be allowed to generate and transmit their own electricity if the federal government's decentralization bid of the national grid comes to effect. Well, that's our focus next when we return in a moment. Please stay with us.
unripe plantain flour is 100% natural flour gotten from the processing of unripe plantain. It contains no addictive and has a net content of 500 grams. True unripe plantain flour contains vitamin A, B6 and C. It is gluten-free and rich in calcium. Consuming true unripe plantain flour helps to build and strengthen stronger bones and can be a great meal for diabetic patients. It decreases your chances of constipation as it has a high fiber content and provides you with a low-fat diet. Here are some steps to prepare your true unripe plantain flour. Firstly, mix true unripe plantain flour with hot water in a pot and gradually add water till you achieve desired thickness. Place over medium heat and turn very well for 4 to 5 minutes to get the right texture. Mold into a ball and place in a bowl and allow to cool. Serve with your choice of soup. True unripe plantain flour can be eaten with any variety of soup, be it your ofe oha, ofe onugbu, begiri, ewedu, or your miyan kuka. To get your true unripe plantain flour, contact us at 12 Olowera Isheri Road by First Welder bus stop off Omole Phase 2, Olowera, Lagos, Nigeria, or call 070-6663-8213 or 081-6397-4447. Distributors are needed nationwide.
The photography business is a very competitive industry. Every year, thousands of talented photo lovers consider turning their passion into a money-making business venture. Especially in a fiercely competitive marketplace like Nigeria, in which it is very easy for anyone to buy a digital camera and call themselves a professional photographer. According to some practitioners, a new photographer who wants a standard studio can start with a budget of 3.5 million naira. However, one can start with a lower budget of about 500,000 to 1 million naira depending on the tools and cost of rent. On the average, the cost of photography equipment is around 294,790 naira. However, the price ranges from around 41,000 naira to as high as 2.46 million naira. Nigeria has a population of over 200 million people with a vibrant movie industry that produces 50 movies per week, generating annual revenue of approximately $590 million from between 2016 and 2021, helping the photography industry as a whole, according to a recent research by the UN.
Are you a business owner looking for the right exposure to attract massive clients to your brand? The long search is definitely over. SME Hub allows you to showcase your products and services to a wide range of viewers and buyers nationwide. For further inquiries, please call Alero on 081-323-43262 or you can send an email to alero.ogudere@ibrandtv.com. Grow your brand and boost your business on SME Hub, live on iBrandTV, where business comes first.
The future of cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrencies continue to draw a lot of attention from investors, entrepreneurs, regulators, and the general public. Many recent public discussions of cryptocurrencies have been triggered by the substantial changes in their prices, claims that the market for cryptocurrencies is a bubble without any fundamental value, and also concerns about evasion of regulatory and legal oversight. These concerns have led to calls for increased regulation or even a total ban. Further debates concern inter alia, the classification of cryptocurrencies as commodities, money, or something else, the potential development of cryptocurrency.
All right, before we talk about the challenges bedeviling the power sector, let's bring you the top business stories. Oil marketers disclosed that they had intensified their call for an increase in the pump price of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, to the federal government, as the current cost of the commodity cannot longer be maintained. Also, PMS transporters confirmed that operations had begun in full swing following last week's hike in the freight rate being paid by the federal government for the transportation of petrol nationwide. The Deputy National President, Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, Zarma Mustafa, confirmed that the federal government had been put on notice concerning marketers' intentions to increase petrol price. He, however, maintained that the current pump price is no longer sustainable, and the association made this known to the government. Meanwhile, he acknowledged the effort of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited in ensuring the availability of PMS. And Chapel Hill Denham, an investment and management bank, has disclosed that an estimated 15.6 million liters of petrol are smuggled out of Nigeria daily in August 2021. This was disclosed in a document titled, quote, Dangote Refinery can provide the needed breather for Nigeria's public finances. Interestingly, Nigerian petroleum products retail on average 3.7 times cheaper than those of its neighbors, which has given smugglers unfair possibilities for arbitrage. According to the research, subsidies could further accelerate an already pressured inflationary trend, albeit a stronger fiscal position's positive spillover could minimize the impact on disadvantages. The federal government has disclosed that it has begun the implementation of a 10 naira per litre sugar tax on carbonated sugar drinks and beverages, which, according to it, will help mitigate non-communicable diseases. Recall the policy was introduced in the Finance Act, which was signed into law by President Muhammadu Buhari on December 31, 2021, alongside the 2022 appropriation bill. This was disclosed by Mr. Dennis Ituma, Chief Superintendent of Customs, Department of Excise, Free Trade Zone and Industrial Incentives. Ituma said the services had commenced taxing companies that produce sugar-sweetened beverages on the 1st of June 2023, adding that all excise duties must have been collected and paid into the Federation account. He added that the Customs Services designates resident customs officers to all factories producing SSBs who take the measurements of all daily productions. And the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, and MTN Nigeria have announced the date for the rollout of 5G technology in Nigeria. This was revealed by the NCC and the mobile operator at the 90th edition of Telecom Consumer Parliament, TCP, held yesterday. Executive Vice Chairman, NCC, Professor Umar Dambata, stated that commercial services would begin the rollout of 5G services effective from August 24, 2022, which has been confirmed by MTN. He also added that in line with the demographic changes, internet penetration grew from 3% in 2004 to 73.8% as of September 2022, while broadband penetration increased from less than 10% in 2015 to 40.01% in September 2021. Furthermore, during the Parliament discussion, stakeholders allayed the fears that 5G network had health consequences. Well, we'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll delve into the issues bedeviling the power sector of Nigeria. Please stay with us.
The photography business is a very competitive industry. Every year, thousands of talented photo lovers consider turning their passion into a money-making business venture, especially in a fiercely competitive marketplace like Nigeria, in which it is very easy for anyone to buy a digital camera and call themselves a professional photographer. According to some practitioners, a new photographer who wants a standard studio can start with a budget of 3.5 million naira. However, one can start with a lower budget of about 500,000 to 1 million naira depending on the tools and cost of rent. On the average, the cost of photography equipment is around 294,790 naira. However, the price ranges from around 41,000 naira to as high as 2.46 million naira. Nigeria has a population of over 200 million people with a vibrant movie industry that produces 50 movies per week, generating annual revenue of approximately $590 million from between 2016 and 2021, helping the photography industry as a whole, according to a recent research by the UN.
Are you a business owner looking for the right exposure to attract massive clients to your brand? The long search is definitely over. SME Hub allows you to showcase your products and services to a wide range of viewers and buyers nationwide. For further inquiries, please call Alero on 081-323-43262, or you can send an email to alero.ogudere@iBrandTV.com. Grow your brand and boost your business on SME Hub, live on iBrandTV, where business comes first.
All right, now let's dive right into the power sector. State government will now be allowed to generate and transmit their own electricity as the federal government is set to decentralize national grid to accommodate more investors with a plan to invest about $550 million. According to President Muhammadu Buhari, his administration is moving at improving Nigeria's power supply amid constraints and bottlenecks which have seen multiple incidents of grid failures. He said Nigeria is decentralizing the national grid through renewable-driven mini-grids and also signed into law the Constitutional Amendment Bill, which will allow state governments generate and transmit their own electricity. Now, what impact will this have on the sector once the plan is implemented? We would be analyzing this further with Adetayo Adegbemle, convener and executive director, Power Up Nigeria. He joins us now via the phone. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Adegbemle.
Good morning, good morning, Nigeria.
Yeah, good morning to you. Now, let me get your first reaction to the federal government's plan to decentralize the power sector.
The idea to decentralize the power supply to Nigeria is a pretty welcome one.
Is what?
The question, it's always a welcome development.
Okay.
So the question here though is the method with which they want to go about it.
Okay.
Mr. President spoke about decentralizing the national grid via mini grids and use of solar. Well, there are still limitations on that. The approach we would have expected though is a bit different. We have argued over time that it does not make sense for us to have a central grid in Nigeria, with which we mean if anything happens along Calabar axis, for instance, it affects production down up to Lagos, you know. So when we say we are looking forward to have a decentralized national grid, we are looking more in terms of streamlining our generation. So, for instance, we have power generated in Lagos, for instance. There'll be no need for it to, first of all, get to the national grid in Oshogbo before it gets distributed to eventual users. Along that line, we have loads and loads of losses along that line, which we could believe could have been better managed if the distribution is done within Lagos and its immediate environment.
Now, the president and the federal government talking about using renewable energy as the means to decentralize this power sector. Do you see that being feasible, considering the fact that there are still a lot of challenges mitigating against the exploration of renewable energy in Nigeria?
Challenges in terms of technology development, challenges in terms of funding. Those are very heavy issues that we need to, and of course, the costs. You know, the cost of the renewable. I mean, the cheapest forms of energy are still on the national grid, and are still from some selected sources of power. So if we insist on going renewable, we have to consider the technology, we have to consider the cost of doing this, and the eventual cost to consumers. Those are the primary things we should not forget to put in consideration. While we're venturing into power sector reform, one of the big things that we are supposed to be the driver is that we will be able to get power to consumers at the cheapest possible rate. Of course, we have heard of that, and insisting that we're going to go renewable is also flaring fun down the line. Then again, you see, there is this other part of the aspect of the conversation or the argument that we should also put into consideration. There are serious energy crises across the world as we speak right now. And
especially with the Russia-Ukraine war.
Well, yes. I mean, Russia being one of the primary sources of natural gas, for the world, and of course coal, for those that are also using coal. I mean, so that little crisis on its own has thrown the whole of Europe into serious energy crisis. And of course, the whole world is also feeling the other impacts down the lane. So we also have the example of Germany, for instance. UK, for instance, are also saying that they are going to reopen a number of their nuclear power plants and before they're going to ramp up production through via coal. Similar experience that we had in Germany, and of course, this also spreads across the whole of Europe. So yes, we can say we want to go renewable, but the emphasis should be on developing what energy sources will serve our needs here in Nigeria, will solve our national interests first. Then we can now talk about catching up with the rest of the world. But for now, we are so much disadvantaged for us to say we want to do copycats, we want to go renewable, we want to put in our money into what's revolution. And unfortunately, so far as we speak, we don't produce any aspect of what we renewable. I mean, solar panels, inverters, batteries, we don't produce any of those things in Nigeria. So it will continue to make us largely dependent on, pillars like
importation,
India, like China.
And of course make it more expensive to provide power.
Say that again.
I said, and that would of course have its ripple effect and make power expensive.
Absolutely. I mean, let's look at it. Because the inflation continues to we are above 18 point something by the latest data by Nigerian Bureau of Statistics.
17.71%.
How much?
Inflation rate 17.71%.
I mean, it's not. We're even looking at that figure, but what is the actual effect, direct effect on people? The cost of living, the cost of buying food, the cost of energy, it keeps increasing. So, I mean, if we want to go down through that route, we will definitely also be adding to the burdens of an average Nigerian. And I don't think that's what the government should be focusing on right at the moment.
But let's also look at the bottlenecks facing the power sector, because we have seen the sector go through several reforms, from privatizations to service-based tariff, or the promise that electricity supply would improve. But we've still not seen any improvement. What exactly is the issue here?
like we've always been saying, the major bulk of issue, like I personally believe, and I've also been pushing, it's more of a human thing. It's not as if our power sector is so bad that we can't solve these things. I mean, let's take for instance the issue of metering. We have come with different ideas for the federal government, for everybody that's involved, and say, okay, these folks cannot afford to meter people. Why don't you let's do the alternative? Now we went through the route of MAP, but consumers are paid for their meters through MAP are supposed to be refunded. Nobody saying anything about it. Everything is still boils down to the implementation of this. There's nothing difficult in this country, no doubt about it. But what about the people that have been empowered, enabled to solve this problem, to implement these laws? Are they also doing it because they are afraid to do it, or they are doing it because they are convinced they want to do it?
So let me butt in there. If we were to decentralize and maybe it scales through, there is a budgetary allocation for the power sector yearly by the National Assembly. What exactly do you think would happen to states in terms of sharing formula, which state gets how much and all of that, considering the fact that the resources are not evenly distributed?
Can you say that again another way?
Yes, so if we decentralize and states start producing their own or generating their own power, what exactly would happen to the budgetary allocation that goes to, the power sector yearly? Would states now have to get a share of it? And if so, what portion would determine what each state gets?
This is one of the major challenges that we have, and for those proponents of decentralization politically, this is where the argument comes from. We have states with the capacity, both natural resource and the financial resource, to invest in the power sector. I mean, Lagos State, for instance, has been talking to the World Bank, to the tune of 20 billion naira. But 20 billion, I'm not sure if it's dollars or naira, but 20 billion, recently. And it is ongoing. That Lagos State is trying to create its own electricity market. For me, it's a very big kudos to them. So we have states with natural resources and the financial capability for them to fruit.
So are you saying there won't be a need for the budgetary allocation for the power sector?
Absolutely none. Absolutely none. After all, the budgetary allocation is fixed. It will come with that. I mean, the possibility is fixed already. So it is not a question of, I don't expect a state like Osho State, for instance, that doesn't have the financial muscle to go into it, unless they're able to get maybe international partners that are bringing in funds to come and do it. Then they will now need to now show that the market is going to be profitable in their state. But look at it's not like Lagos. That is the financial capital of Nigeria, is the market capital of Nigeria, the industrial market capital of Nigeria. Definitely you will know that if industries are able to pass themselves through the grid, they won't have the need to provide alternative sources of power for themselves, which they have.
All right, there's still so much to explore on this issue. There is so much to talk about, but we're really constrained by time. Thank you so much for your time, Adetayo Adegbemile.
All right, that's fine.
All right, have a great weekend. Okay, we've been speaking with Adetayo Adegbemile. He is Executive Director, Power Up Nigeria, and he's been talking to us about the decentralization of the power sector, which has been proposed by the federal government. We'll take a break. When we'll come back, we'll delve into the global oil market. Please stay with us. All right, straight to the global oil market now, where oil prices traded sideways on Friday after briefly rising nearly $1 per barrel as the market balanced fears of slower demand from cooling U.S. economic activity with supply uncertainty. Brent crude futures were trading down 5 cents or 0.1% at $110 per barrel in early trade, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures were up 19 cents or 0.2% at $104.46 a barrel, and the price fell around 1.5% in the previous session. Crude futures slipped back into sell mode after U.S. manufacturing and services PMIs came in well below expectations, along with a downswing in Germany's manufacturing data, said Stephen Hines, managing partner at SPI Asset Management. Analysts said OPEC and allied producing countries, including Russia, will likely stick to a plan for accelerated output increases in August in hopes of easing crude prices and inflation as U.S. President Joe Biden plans to visit Saudi Arabia. And also, the technology sector spurred a climb in stocks Friday, and bonds held a rally as investors evaluated economic threats and scaled back expectations for inflation and interest rate hikes. An Asian equity index rose for a second day, aided by Chinese tech shares, while S&P 500 and European futures pushed higher. U.S. shares closed near session highs Thursday, adding more than 3% in 3 days. Australian yields fell and U.S. Treasuries held an advance. The policy-sensitive U.S. two-year yield is on course for one of its biggest weekly drops since March 2020. The dollar slipped and the yen strengthened. Oil held at around $104 a barrel. A gauge of commodities has retreated to its lowest level since February in a sign of economic angst. U.S. data and Federal Reserve commentary added to those concerns. Jobless claims hovered near a 5-week high, and manufacturing and services cooled. Well, that's it on today's edition of Business Breakfast, and of course, it's a close for the show for the week. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. My name is Omobolanle Adeshuyi, and from all of us here, have a fantastic weekend. Bye for now.
Most people don't understand the magic of the perfect skin, the allure of the well-pampered skin. We bounce from skincare products to skincare products, from spa to spa.